into the actual trading. Let's do crypto trading 101. So for someone like myself, I've never traded. I understand the concepts to make money, but beyond that, don't really understand it. I just know that I'm here. I'm excited to get into cryptocurrency. I want to trade. Give me the 101s. What are we even trying to accomplish with crypto trading?
Well, I think the best way to really do this is just by pulling up the Conveyor app and going through one of these buy signals. So, the first thing they really look at on here is the alert. It's a new trade idea. It's very important for people to realize that these are just moves that I'm making. It's what I do for myself. I go heavy in these trades because I believe in them. And if you guys want to take the trades, great. If not, it's really also an education piece of why that I chose this, and so you guys can see how these things unfold.
So first idea, new trade idea, that just means this is your new position. You're taking it in the market. You're sending it to me and saying, this is what I'm doing. I choose to follow her if I know.
Absolutely.
All right, new trade idea, that I can follow. Let's keep going.
So now we're moving down to the pair, right? So the first coin is always gonna be the one that we're buying, right? So this one, SC, Sia coin / Bitcoin, means that we're gonna buy it with Bitcoin versus buying it with Ethereum. So you're gonna need Bitcoin to buy this coin at this given price.
So whatever's second in the pairing, I'm using to buy whatever's first. So if it says SC and then Bitcoin, I'm gonna use Bitcoin to buy Sia coin.
Remember, and you always want your second pair to do worse, right? So we're buying Sia coin because we really believe it's gonna do better against the dollar than Bitcoin will.
That makes
sense. And that's why whenever we sell it back into Bitcoin, we'll have more Bitcoin.
So I'm gonna use my Bitcoin to buy this because I believe it's gonna perform better right now. And then I'll end up selling it back eventually.
Remember, there's two ways to make Bitcoin, right? Either Bitcoin stays the same price as the dollar and Sia coin goes up, or Bitcoin goes down the price of the dollar and Sia coin stays the same. Either way, we're gonna have more Bitcoin at the end of the day.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, so we're hedging our bets, so to speak, against those two forms. Okay, excellent. That's the pair. Then it says order type. What is an order type?
So it's either gonna be a buy or sell. I'm either gonna put out this entry to take position, or it's gonna be take profit at this given price for this much % gain against Bitcoin or against Ethereum. As a cryptocurrency trader, we're trying to make more coin. We all believe these coins are gonna go up against the dollar. Right. So the more coin we can make, once they do go up against the dollar, you start to see a really crazy compound effect there.
Very interesting. So instead of worrying so much about what the dollar value is of this, it's how many of these coins can I get?
Right, I guess look at it this way. You had one Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes from 7,000 to 10,000. You have just made 3 grand on your 7K, right? Well, imagine making one Bitcoin turn into 2 and Bitcoin goes to 10 grand. Right. Now you have 20 grand instead of 7, you just made 13 grand by leveraging your Bitcoin instead of just keep it. Look at Bitcoin as buying power in the alternative coin market.
Gotcha. And it's all about coin accumulation. All about coin accumulation, never forget it. All right, so we got buy and it says /compra. Is that /sell then?
That is Spanish for buy.
Okay, so it's buy or buy.
Buy or buy.
The order type is buy or buy, got it. Okay, and then it says buy zone. Let's talk about this buy zone because when I first got my very first alert, this buy zone freaked me out. I saw buy zone between and then all these zeros and the dots and the 8s and I was like, what is that?
Yeah. Well, so the first thing to know is the terminology for what the pricing of Bitcoin is, and they use the word Satoshi. So this price point of Sia coin with the 5 zeros and the 85, that's its Satoshi price point of Bitcoin. That's a fraction that one Sia coin equals a Bitcoin.
And that's really because Satoshi is Bitcoin. It's a nomenclature, but it is the same thing. Just like US dollar and dollar are the same thing.
Exactly.
Very good. Okay, that's very helpful. So that Satoshi, it is the Bitcoin. And what I'm seeing here in the buy zone, this is the little fraction of a Bitcoin that is the actual cost of one of these Sia coins that I saw here in the pair.
Exactly. And normally my buy zone is about 10 to 15%. As far as movement goes, right?
Okay, and why is that? Why do you have that?
Well, normally it has to do with volatility. It's pretty easy for a coin to go down 10% before going up 30 or 40%. It's typical retracement or pullback as they call it. And so, liquidity is also an issue when it comes to cryptocurrency. There's not as much money in the whole market cap as a Forex, foreign exchange market. You're talking a $5 trillion market versus like less than $300 billion right now. 800 billion is where we were back in January. So, it's such a smaller pond. And if everyone, 30,000 members of Kavera were all trying to buy at the same price point, orders would not get filled, right? You'd have way too many people, trying to buy in. So
because just those buy orders are going to create its own set of fluctuation.
Exactly.
Okay,
so it's much better for some people to be buying it at 85 and 86 and 87. Everyone's still taking position in a proper zone. That's still going to be a good entry for what's to come. And it helps for the technical analysis to stay the analysis and for it to not kind of screw things up and make the analysis now invalid.
Perfect. So if I get this alert and I want to take action on it, just like you are, as long as I can buy between those two price points, that Saya coin, between those two price points, I should get in, because that's the move you're making. If I want to follow you.
Yep. Okay. And even if it goes below the buy zone, it's still okay to buy that as well. We kind of call that averaging down, right? Okay. If you buy some at $100 and then some at 80, well, now your average is around 90. So it starts to help you get a better profit as it really does make the move. And
very good. So that buy zone is both the value and potentially the average value of what I'm purchasing. Yep, exactly. Very good. Okay, now we go to stop loss. And when I first saw this, I saw none on my stop loss, and I thought, that is so scary. Does that mean that I could lose everything? Does that mean there's no stopping how much I can lose? Explain why we have none on a stop loss here.
Well, so in Forex, people are really used to taking these stop losses, and you might be willing to accept a 5 or 10% loss if you didn't make that perfect entry, but the whole point of having the stop loss in Forex is because the idea of you can lose your whole account, right? Well, you can't do that, and as we talked about in crypto before. So there's really no point in taking a 10, 15% loss before getting a 50, 100% gain, right? So it's one of those things that you have to be willing to accept a 10, 15% paper loss sometimes to get the bigger move. And it really has to go with manipulation. These whales, these market makers, they see a lot of the same stuff that technical analysis people see, right? They can read the charts the way I read the chart. And so a lot of times, if they hold a big enough position, they can really manipulate the price. They can dump their coins, keep dumping it. And if you have a stop loss, you could be pushed out of the trade right before it goes up 40%. So you went to sleep, you woke up, you see Bitcoin Cash is up 40% against Bitcoin, and you go to log in and you're actually back in Bitcoin because it pushed you out of the trade. And so these whales, they will do it. And I've seen it time and time again. And even if you start to try to, make your stop losses lower, like maybe I won't do 15, I'll do 20, 30%. Again, the manipulation, they'll get it all the way down to where you get stopped out, only then to push it up. And so it's just one of those things, there's really no reason to recognize a loss in crypto because these coins continually create all-time highs, test old price points, create higher lows. And so if you don't make the perfect entry, if you're patient long enough, you will always get an opportunity to at least get out at break even, if not for a gain.
Right, that makes sense. So it's really, the no stop losses really comes back to that concept that I haven't ever lost anything if I don't want to realize that loss. It's because the value of the coin I'm holding has the potential to rise again. Yep. Okay, that makes perfect sense.
And keep in mind that, these entries that I'm putting out, they are good entries. Like I'm not buying something that is gonna pull back. We've waited for the sell-off. We waited for that fear, uncertainty, and doubt to set into that coin, and we're buying up the fear versus other people are buying the greed and FOMO and fear of missing out and chasing things. They should be already in and be selling it, not buying it, right? And we're selling it when other people are thinking about buying it. Exactly. We're always doing the opposite of what that layman person who doesn't know what they're doing is doing. Because remember, crypto is a zero-sum game. For one person to make money, someone has to lose money, right? Someone had to buy Bitcoin at 9,500 for someone to have sold it on that top. Right. And they've been holding it all the way down. So my job is to make it to where we're always on the right side of the coin and not holding the bag.
And again, you've done a pretty good job so far. You got a great track record. All right, let's keep going. So we have a take profit 1, 2, and 3, and we've got the numbers next to them and a percent next to that. Help me understand this. Am I taking 1? Am I taking 2? Am I taking 3? Is this just how much risk tolerance I have? Or what do I do with these three?
Great question. So first off, the percentages to the right is the percentage gain, approximately. And so I trade off what's called the Elliott wave theory. Don't need to go too much into it, but it's a concept of a 5-wave, right? With 3 waves being up and 2 being pullbacks. And so what I'm giving the person or the member is a big picture outlook of what I believe this coin is gonna do over the next several months on a high time frame as it works its way back up to old all-time high price points.
Okay, so this is really that big picture vision. This is, if again, the 5, so you're saying, I think it's gonna go up, I think it's gonna dip, I think it's gonna go up, I think it's gonna dip, and I think it's gonna go up, and that's the final ride for that particular coin, and then get out type of a feeling.
Exactly.
But that's the idea between 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
So if I want to get into this trade, do I have to do 1, 2, and 3, or can I just take one position, or just wait right through that one and wait till the second one if I have that long-term kind of feeling?
Right. Well, so I guess the education piece here is that things just don't go straight to the moon, right? If you believe Bitcoin's gonna go from 7,000 back to 20,000, it very well could. It's just not gonna happen all in one move, right?
Or in a straight line.
Or in a straight line.
Right.
So if you really wanna pull out as much percentage gain as possible, then you wanna play the moves for what they are. And so again, what I'm saying is, if you take profit at this take profit 1, that's a good profit taking position to then re-enter on the pullback to retake position for take profit 2.
So it's coming up and I'm gonna take profit.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna let it come down, but I'm gonna get in now here and I'm gonna ride number 2.
Right.
And then I'm gonna take my profit again and then I'm gonna ride number 3. That's the idea.
Because the idea is, take profit 3 is normally gonna be the all-time high from prior price points.
Okay.
And they don't always get there, right? So you don't necessarily wanna wait for take profit 3 and you got take profit 1 and 2, didn't realize gains. And we kind of say these things take the stairs up and the elevator back down. So, you really want to take profit while it's there and to not get greedy. But again, by taking profit on each take profits, you really can pull more out of the move than just 180% by staying throughout all 3 targets.
Perfect. And then you list the possible exchanges. So this is, I don't have to have all 3 of those, right? I just need to be able to do one of those.
Okay, so Bittrex, Binance, Poloniex, all these exchanges all hold Coin on their exchange and have the Bitcoin pair to be able to make that trade. And just depending on what people are more comfortable with as far as exchanges, we never really want to recommend anything. It's all about what the user wants to do. And then you start to see some of these green lines, red lines, these are trend lines. So, the green line is going to be the upward trend line, and then the red line is a downward trend line.
Okay.
And so for people who don't know much about trend lines, it's kind of finance 101, I guess you could say. It's just kind of this imaginary line. Again, it's kind of all theories, but you'll see time and time again, it just bounces right off this imaginary line. And so obviously drawing trend lines and this whole technical analysis is an art, right? It's kind of painting the charts, if you will, and it's a skill. And so if you don't put proper technical analysis on your charts, it could be telling you something that's just not gonna happen. Right.
Well, what I love about what we talked about earlier, see, I look at these charts and I see Christmas lights. It's just green and red and it's Christmas lights and it looks ugly and gnarly and I don't have a clue what's happening. You look at these charts and the market is telling you a story, and that's what gets me so excited about Crypto One, is that I don't have to see that as a story. I don't have to see that as a painting. I can see it as Christmas lights and gobbledygook and crazy, because I have you telling me what it actually means, which we appreciate. And you actually do tell us what it means down here in the notes section. I've loved reading the notes because I feel like I'm learning from that.
Absolutely.
So why do you include those notes?
Well, so again, I want that education piece to be there. For some people who just want to copy and paste the numbers and put into exchange and take the trade, that's great. That's part of what the service is there. But for the people who really do want to understand the charts and looking to get into the intermediate level, I want them to see those charts, right? I want them to have the full pieces of the puzzle as well as these notes. Again, if people get to know me, they know I'm very transparent. I want to give as much value as I can, and I want to teach people. I've always wanted to be the person helping someone make more money, and I feel like this is a direct conduit to do that. And so again, it's one thing helping people take trades, another thing helping them be able to one day take trades for themselves and create a real skill set.
Well, we love that here at Kuvera I can make money both using the products and building a business. But we especially love that you've chosen to bring your passion of helping people make money here to our Crypto One product. Thank you.